Hey friends, we are outside again in the garden. I'm coming to you just in midday, so it's not too hot, not too cold out, and I'm just loving this scene. Can't find my mic, so we are just going to try and speak freely here. It's going to be a challenge because of the topics that we're speaking about. So hey, hi, hello. If you're new here, my name is Tori. I try to do preparedness on a budget, and preparedness looks so different to everybody. So if you like that kind of thing, definitely hit the subscribe button. We like to keep it positive, but we also like to keep it pretty real. So some of these topics today might be heavy, but it's okay. I promise we're gonna put a positive spin on things. So I have my happy juice here. I'm bringing back the beverage chat. If you're new here, we used to do that in the winter time, and I would talk about heavy topics until people complained. So I'm bringing it back in the effort to be more raw and realistic and approachable. I feel like we can approach heavy topics with a sound mind and a positive sense of knowing, I guess not what side we stand on, but knowing our morals, knowing our values, and then applying that to the current state of affairs, if that makes sense. So I'm excited. A lot has happened over the last couple of months, and I kind of wanted to hit on one thing. A very large information technology network just admitted to censorship, and it also admitted to government interference. So I don't know what to say on this platform without being censored or shadow banned. I think I'm a prime example of that. And a lot of people used to say, it's your content, people just aren't into it, which, I could see that. But at the same time, I feel like there's some valuable things here with my content and us as a community in the comments and such. And I felt for a very long time that I just wasn't really being, pushed out to the masses, especially when I hired an SEO person to start doing some of my videos for me. He was seeing the same thing, so it was very odd, and him and I agreed that, because of the topics that I was talking about, that is probably why. So that's briefly what I wanted to touch on. A lot of people I know personally are still getting their news from those media outlets, unfortunately. And I can't sit here and say I have 100% reliable source, but if you dive deep enough, you are going to find some of these reports and who is funding each, media outlet, and go from there. I feel like that's where to start. And I know that was a little jumbled. I stumble on my words when I'm trying to rush and talk about heavy topics, so bear with me here. This kind of stemmed from a conversation we had from a gentleman that approached us at a Dollar Tree. I was trying to do a video for you, affordable prepping at the Dollar Tree, and I got sidetracked because of this gentleman and 3 children in the store. If you want to see that video, let me know, and I will try and go back and hopefully avoid this person. But he clearly had some mental health issues and was very emotionally unstable and was speaking inappropriately, in my opinion, to me in front of my children, and I just didn't appreciate it. And then he got into the election and all of those big topics there. He made a stance on who he supported, and it was very clear to me that we just didn't agree. He was spouting a lot of propaganda, which was a little sad to me, seeing how old the gentleman was. But I guess media affects everybody, and in my way, I wanted to set him straight in a positive way, but at the same time, I had children in front of me, and I just don't feel, I'm gonna probably get a lot of hate for this, but I don't feel that politics should be brought in front of your children. I feel like you can instill morals and values and the right sense of being an appropriate member of society, but at the same time, I don't think they need to know about the election and the corruption and all of that. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. I have talked about some things in the sky and things in the water and air and why we need to eat well and move our body and keep our mind right. I've talked about with them some, child appropriate ways of why that's happening. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, but that gentleman really, it did kind of bring me to a shock, because majority of people that I meet like that are on the internet. So I don't see a lot of them in person. Granted, we don't go out a lot, but it had me thinking, and what are your thoughts on that? Do you see a lot of people that are loud like that out and about, or is it someone hiding behind a screen? Because that's typically where I see them, but I'm doing this as my job and I'm putting these subjects out there in hopes that we can have a calm, logical conversation, but that's just not always the case. And I've never really said who I support or anything like that. A lot of people make their assumptions. I don't believe the government has our best interest currently. I don't think they've had our best interest for a long time. I'm sure there are some people in government that really are out there to help us, that really have gotten involved to help the American citizen, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are motivated and run by the financial aspect of being a politician. And I feel like that's pretty typical. That's something that we can all agree on. But at the same time, I see people just arguing loudly on the internet about it. So I think what I wanted to touch on was, in that moment, I did feel unsafe. I felt like his movements were unpredictable. His body language was unpredictable. And out in public with my children, I typically feel safe. On a hiking trail, you know, with mountain lion sightings and bear, I feel safe. But in that moment, my response kicked in and I froze, and it just was so uncomfortable. And it just got me thinking that I need to get my mind right. I talked about it a few videos back, that it's important to be prepared mentally and physically. And I speak about it all the time, but in that moment I didn't feel prepared. So it gave me my reminder to do some mindful time to myself, to do some breath work, and just really get grounded in some clarity in my mind. I feel like awareness is so important when it comes to preparedness. Just being aware of your surroundings, even if they're uncontrollable, and being able to adapt. I feel like that's important to model for our children as well if you're a parent. So that was something I wanted to touch on. Then lastly, this is probably going to be another controversial one. I don't really talk about my faith here on the channel. I feel like a lot of you can assume it, but these last couple of weeks, with a video going pretty viral in my world, I have had a lot of daunting comments about faith, saying that it is the end of times and you need to get right with, you know, your person to prepare for this. And again, I respect all of you. I respect your opinions, but that is not what I'm here for on my channel. That is frightening for some. It's frightening for a lot of young people that watch the channel that are just starting out their life and their faith. I understand where you're coming from. Some people think it's a positive situation, but a lot of us are just trying to approach this society every single day. You know, they're not looking at the long term, which I find myself in a constant battle. But I would appreciate if we just kept a sound mind when we are commenting. A lot of people are writing paragraphs of scripture, and that is so amazing that you are spreading the word. But wow, let's take a step back and really just think about our words and how they can affect, you know, the general population, people like me that are just trying to raise kind humans in this society. This is why I don't get political. I don't like to talk about controversy or religion or anything like that. And it's because I get this pushback every single time, and there's so many drastic difference of opinion. But the one thing that we have in common is our health and wellness and how that's being tampered with. And that's really the direction of the channel and where I want to go into, you know, being aware of those toxins. I talked about it a few videos back, and I do believe in toxicity of the mind and the spirit, and how, you know, there are so many ways to help aid in that. Having a sense of community, whether that be in a church or just a group of like-minded people, is important. But at the same time, having those daunting thoughts, you know, said out loud, or, I mean, I never want to censor someone's true belief, but I'm getting a little, I'm not afraid, but I guess I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed by those comments, to be honest with you, and the, you know, spirit of trying to be real and raw. I just don't think it's something that I really want on my channel anymore. So if you write a comment like that and you don't see it, 9 times out of 10, it's YouTube taking that off of there, because sometimes it's gibberish and sometimes it's just like too much for people. And I guess that's where the balance is for me. I never want to contribute to the censorship. So yes, I have a visitor, but that was a lot for me to get out, and sometimes I don't speak very eloquently, but I try my best. Moral of the story, I don't want to contribute to the censorship, but if you don't see your comment, like I said, YouTube probably took it away, or maybe I saw it and I said, you know what, I don't really want other people reading that. And you know, that goes for other comments, not just religion-based comments. You know, that goes for inappropriate comments, that goes for name calling. Sometimes if I see you get in a debate with another person and that person is being extremely mean and you are a valued member of the community, I'll take care of that for you. It's just not something I ever want on my channel. I want a healthy, not non-spirited debate. And I know that probably makes me the bad guy in some of your eyes, but I wanted to come on here and share that with you. I didn't incite like a state of confusion, but it really got me thinking with what happened this week, with that media outlet kind of being exposed, although a lot of us already knew it, and with that man, because wow, it was just like two things colliding at one time. And I had a chance to sit down and, you know, have a moment of clarity, and I saw how I could have handled that, and I saw how I can handle it in the future and what will make me feel more comfortable. So it's okay to stand your ground, and it's also okay to approach this wellness journey with a sound mind. So if I find something that's really making me uncomfortable, I'm absolutely going to take it out of my life. And I feel like that's what I'm doing on the channel. After all, it is my channel. A close friend on here said it well, like, what's the point of YouTube if I can't speak my mind? So that's what I wanted to come on here and chat with you about today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Again, try and keep it positive, try and keep it logical, and I guess, you know, feel free to speak your mind, but let's try and do it in that positive way, like I was saying. So I don't think I had anything else to say. Let me know what you want to see in the future. A lot of you are new, so I don't know if you like the day-to-day. I don't know if you like these sit-down chit-chats. I don't know if you like my recipes, but I try and be realistic with my days. I don't really plan out content. I just like to come on here and chat with you and have that sense of community. A lot of us have gotten close over the years, and I absolutely love it. So I will keep you posted on the move. If you want more information on that, just head over to my other YouTube channel. I keep more updated, like day-to-day in the life there, but we're excited to get this show on the road and start our little homestead with my close family. I'm very, very excited about that. So I can't wait to show you the beauty of Pennsylvania. I am from rural Pennsylvania, from the woods, and it's just going to be such a great change of scenery for myself and my family, and I hope you're excited for it. So stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.
We're moving through the night like we're from a different star, flying over streets and